Welcome back to the show. Today we are joined by Naoki Nayati. First of all, thanks, bro, for joining me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Explain the name to me. Naoki Nayati, but you're from England.
So basically, I was born Sam Harmon. Sam Harmon was my father's name, or last name, and my mother was called Lisa Jane Hancock. And me and my dad had a rocky relationship. So as I grew up, I was like, right, I'm going to change my name to Sam Hancock. So I changed it, and then everyone just knew me as that. And then I'd probably say about 4 years ago, so I'm 26 now, but 4 years ago, I started this shamanic journey way before that, but I got to a point in my journey where we have to do a thing called a vision quest, and you go and it's fasted for 24 hours, and you basically go and sit in a 1 metre by 1 metre square, and you basically just have to, you have a rattle, and you just have to sing over and over and over, and you're allowed water, no food, no psychedelics, no nothing, just water, and you basically meet these guides or these spirits of sorts, and during that time my teacher, she goes back to her house or goes back to wherever, and they journey through a name, and then that is the spiritual name or given name that you get when you get to a certain part in your spiritual journey or shamanic journey, and she gave me the name Naoki Nayati. So although I liked Hancock in a sense because I wanted to try and carry my mother's name on because my mother isn't here anymore, when I got Naoki Nayati, I was like, I really just need to step into this new me, you know? I felt like I was holding so much baggage from Sam Harmon and Sam Hancock that no matter where I went, every time someone called me Sam, they would say, it would just bring all that feelings back, you know? Like,
What
Sam,
kind of feelings? What were you holding on to? What was
just
involved
like,
in your past life?
Man, just loads, just addiction, a lot of trauma, psychological, physical abuse, sexual abuse, just loads, yeah. And I almost, even though I was on this healing journey and sort of sorting that out, I felt like it was attached to me, you know, it was attached to the name. Like, it was like, every time someone would shout Sam, I remember like my dad shouting Sam, or I remember, you know, like people talking about me at school, like, oh, Sam's shit, or Sam's this, or you know, Sam ain't gonna get anywhere in life, Sam's an idiot, or it was just all this repetitive thing. And although I don't associate with any sort of mental health issue or illness anymore, there's a really good book actually by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and she talks about like how we describe ourselves, or how we describe things. So one thing that I teach my students is when we say I have depression, you're almost accepting that. I believe, and this is part of my journey, is I believe that you just accept, oh, I have depression, I'm never going to get any better. You know, there's no end goal. So what I do is I reword that, and I try and get my students to reword that to, some days I feel down more than others.
Correct.
But I'm doing what I can to get better. You know, there's always like an end goal in sight. I can't remember how I got into that.
A lot of people just accept the way things are and they think that there's nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah, basically. So, whereas I wanted to do something about it, and I thought that back to the original thing about changing my name to Naoki Nayati, all these things that happened was with Sam Harmon. You know, Sam Harmon had the depression, Sam Harmon had OCD, and that's why I would compulse, every time someone said Sam, that I would compulse over all the times that someone said Sam that was related to a bad thing, and I was like,
It's a part of your identity.
yeah, I was just so done with it. I'm so done with this, and I sort of like lived all over because I was in the military.
How old were you when you joined the military?
15 years and 9 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically my dad knew, my dad knew this guy called Red. He's passed away now, you know, really good friend of mine, family friend, and he knew the guy at the careers advice place. So because they were friends, if you know somebody, you can just get in super quick. So like, if you don't know someone, you go through a process of like signing up. You got to wait 3 to 6 months, then you go do a test, then you come back, then you get start date. So if you join up at 15 years and 9 months, which is, or I think you can sign up at 15 years and 8 months, I can't remember exactly, but if you sign up there, by the end of like your 16 coming into 17, depends on the process, how many people are joining, you can get in. But because my dad's friend knew the guy, the careers advisor, I basically just said, look, I want to join right now. Like, I'm good to go. So yeah.
Was this your attempt to escape?
Yeah, probably. Like, you know, I joined the Royal Marines first. So I joined Royal Marines at 16. I failed the PRMC because I got muscle and nerve damage in my back. Like basically a few weeks before that. So I was constantly like Royal Marines non-stop. That's all I ever thought about. That's all I ever did, fitness-wise. And when I got to about 12, 13, I had some like sexual abuse problem happen, and I started just going on the drugs, right? And after like a few years of the drugs, I was like, I need to get away, because I knew I had these addictive tendencies. Like even gaming, like I would spend 12 hours gaming. You know,
you just get very addicted very easily.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
with anything.
I'm the same.
Jiu-jitsu.
I'm the same.
Addicted. Like I watch hours. I replay stuff over in my head. I close my eyes and vision. Right. Oh, well, next time if he does this, I should do that. Constantly.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Blessing and a curse. You know, it's good for healthy things like diet. Like when I'm on a diet thing, mate, I am super strict. Like, you know, yeah, everything. But you know,
you need to learn, especially at a young age, to like stay away from the bad addictions.
Yeah.
Try and channel that into something positive at least.
Yeah. Whereas I didn't know that. I didn't know how to do that. Like, you know, no disrespect to my father. You know, we're talking now, but after 8 years of not talking, or how many years of not talking, but you know, I needed a role model. I needed somebody that was going to be there. And like he's an alcoholic, so like he also struggled with addiction. He also smoked the whole time, and we used to say, "Look, Dad, I want you to quit," and he would just smoke anyway in the car with us with windows up, you know. So it was like I was always around all these people that had addictions. So then when I you know manifested that somewhat, my life was full of addiction. So as I got older, I got to 15, and I said I need to get away, and I was having like glimpses of freedom for a short period of time. It would be like I would be on the drugs, or I'd be doing something, smoking weed, getting drunk. Like I used to go buy these bottle of like 4 litres Cactus Jacks or some cider for like £3 from Morrison's, and my friend used to go in for me. He's in the army as well now, but he used to go in for me. I'd give him £5 or whatever. All my mates would do it, and he'd earn £20 himself. He'd go in, he's 18, buy us a load of ciders, gives it. So he was sound. He was like, "I do it same time tomorrow," you know, sort of thing. So we were just getting sloshed every day, you know, and just smoking loads of weed and just doing mad stuff. And then I realised that this just isn't the life that I want to live.
How old were you when you realised that?
I'd probably say 15, yeah, 15, yeah. But so there's just so much to talk about. So even before this, I remember like I used to live in Hull, which is like the northeast, you know, quite a rough area. I always say that Hull is like a dead end town. Like there's not much really going there. They are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Right, some of my friends and some people I know there would do anything for anybody, and they have nothing. You know, I know.
It's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah, I know my brothers. They've given me like the last £10 that they had in their things. I didn't hear.
Because they know what it's like to be at the bottom.
100%, yeah. You know, so I have a lot of respect for some of the people in Hull, and you know, the ones really trying to do better. But so when I was living there, we lived at East Hull, Preston Road. If anyone's watching this, they'll know where that is. So we lived down there.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Preston Road. So we lived down there, and it was just super rough. And then my mum passed when and then we moved from there to Abbey Street. It's a bit more central, but still like the east side, but on just off this real straight road called Hollis Road, and it was quite rough. There was like a addiction rehabilitation centre at the top of the street, and then we would me and my brother would find needles in the park and would throw needles at each other. It was just mad, you know, like. And when my mum died, before we moved outside to a bit more of a posher area called Beverley, I tried to take my own life, and that was I was 5 then, yeah, 5 maybe 6 then, because I just knew I sort of like grew up super quick when that happened. And
you had no choice.
I had no choice, yeah. And because my dad wasn't really there, like he was always at the pub drinking. I literally don't remember him in my childhood at all, apart from hurting us, you know, shouting at us or doing something like that. So it's hard to remember any good times with him. It's all negative, really. So after that, that's when I started to realise and was like viewing things more objectively. Like I find like even from an early age, I was like philosophizing on situations. Like I was able to like dissociate and look at the situation like, wow, this is interesting. What an interesting thing that's happening here, you know.
From a different perspective.
From a different perspective, like I was able to like view it from like a fly on the wall. Like I could almost see myself doing something, and I'm like, why am I doing that? And then I'm like, oh, back to the body. It was like, pardon me, very dissociative. But I didn't know how to explain that, and I was also scared to tell anybody. I was like, what about if like they kill me, or what about if like they do these things?
It seems a bit crazy to admit to that, you know, especially at that age. Yeah. Like most people would think, there's something wrong with this guy here.
Yeah, or they would like call me like a freak, or you know, something. And like even at school, I used to go to this Craven Street Primary School. I don't know if it's still there, but like I just remember like trying to set the drain on fire and just like doing mad stuff that like. When I look back at that, I'm like, what am I doing? You know, why was I doing those things?
Do you think it was a cry for help?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think I told people like what my situation was, and people they would then treat me worse. Like I remember telling this one lunch lady, I was like, look, things are not good at home. You know, like oh my dad does this, or my dad's never at home. I'm always hungry. And I remember she locked me in like a cupboard like that, and was like spraying like Dettol on me or something. And I was like, what the like. Obviously at the time I'm crying my eyes out, oh get off. And my nana, that's my mum's mum, she was like looking after us at the time, in between her and her husband. And she come back and I was like, oh Nan, you know, someone sprayed this. And my nana, who was like 80 at the time, you know, proper warrior, shout out Nan. She like come to the school and I said, look, watch this woman because she's not good, you know, she hits me at lunch and stuff. And she would just pick on me. She would pick on me because we're poor, you know, we didn't have much going on. Yeah, my nana stuck up for me. Like she come in, and my dad didn't. You know, where was my dad? So, like that's a father's job, you know. And my nana stuck up for me, and then. So I've always sort of been in trouble. Always sort of had these addictions, had these weird things happen, done naughty shit. You know, I've never had a normal life. You know. So, go back to the original thing. When I got to about 15, I was like, I'm so done with this now. I'm so done with this, and I was like. I cannot wait to just get out of here and to join the military. I knew that I wanted to join the military anyway, but I didn't know the cause. I didn't think, oh well, this is the cause. I need to escape. Or I need to get out of this. Or I knew that if I carried on going down that path, it would have just ended with prison
or death.
Death, yeah, basically, yeah. So yeah, I said to my dad, look, I want to join the Royal Marines, and he basically just said no. And I was just like, what? I was like, you're never here. You don't, I remember having this argument. He was like, well, if you can prove to me that you're going to pass, I'll sign the thing. So you have to get signed. If you're under 18, you have to get signed by your guardian. So I was out. I was running with weight every day. I was doing everything I could physically get myself ready. Like I was I think I was the youngest person from Yorkshire ever to go to PRMC.
It's such a young age. Like even to think back. The kids these days, like if you were to mention to any one of them, like, hey buddy, you're going off to the army next week, they'd be like, what? There's no way.
Yeah, you know, yeah, 100%, I agree. Yeah, 15 years and 9 months, and anyway, so I was out training. He saw that and went, you know what, actually, let's do it. So we moved around a few places. Like he cheated on his first wife. Or first girlfriend. So when he was with my mum, we moved out. My mum passed. We moved out there to Beverley with this other woman. She was horrible, really nice at times, but also really horrible. But my dad cheated on my mum when she was dying with this woman. Then she cheated on, and he cheated on her with someone else. And then it was like this cycle of just like me watching all these women come to the house, and it was just like. It was just messed up, you know. It was just so messed up. Anyway, got with this other one, with Jane, who now he's happily married with, and. As I signed, he got with this woman, and this woman wanted to move to Spain. So when I joined the Royal Marines at 16, he left. He went to the south of Spain. Yeah. So when I then failed, I basically a few months before when I was doing my GCSEs, someone kicked my chair away and I fell backwards, and the corner of the table went into my back. And I remember my face just went white and I couldn't move, and I had to they come and give me morphine or something and stretchered me out and took me to the hospital, and I had to go to the hospital to put these things on me, and I had muscle and nerve damage in my back. And I was joining the Royal Marines in like 8 weeks or something. It was like I was like, no,
it's over.
I fucked it, yeah. So I basically got on test. I did 2 mil of test a week just to try and help that recovery. Ended up being able to go back to doing my running. I thought, oh, I've got it, and I passed the PRMC up until one of the last things in the gym is you have to do a bleep test and you have to get minimum 11.5 or something, which was easy. You know, I did that, and then you have to do a mile and a half run in less than 10:30, and I got sub 8 minutes, which is ridiculous. You know, it's like super quick.
You're crushing it.
Yeah, smashing everything, and then I come to the pull-ups. As I pulled up like that, my back went, and I just dropped on the floor, and he was like, that's a pass or fail. If you don't get minimum 3 pull-ups, you're out. And I pulled, as I was pulling up, it just went, and I just dropped to the floor, and he went, yeah, you're out, go on, basically. I was just like, what? And he's like, go home. So I basically just stopped, you know, finished, went to the side, and then went and got my stuff and left, and then I was basically homeless for a bit, you know, because I was like, I've got nowhere to go. My dad's fucked off to south of Spain. I've got no family really. I know bits and bobs, but although they act supported or, you know, said, oh, we're always there for you, the relationship didn't support that. You know, I didn't feel supported in that sense. Like if I say to my brothers, I'm there for you, I'm ringing them, hey, how are you? Hey, you good, bro? What's up? What's going on in your life? No one ever did that. So it was like, what? You say that you're there for me, but then you never are, you know. And it's like, I understand from the perspective of maybe me trying to go to them and they would have stepped up, but it was like, you wouldn't just go to a random person's house and just be like, hey, can I sleep on your couch? They're like, what? No, who the fuck are you? And that's what the relationship that I felt like. If I went to them, that would be the case, because they would not be in there. So I rang my grandma, that's my dad's mum, and said, look, can I come and live with you? And she said, I'll think about it. So I was like, what? Damn. So I come back, and then I was on the streets for about a week, maybe 2, and then she was like, yeah, you can come to mine. And then, you know, the first week back after getting back from the Marines, I just got straight back on the drugs, yeah. So, you know, I was on dissociatives like Xanax, diazepam, ketamine really. Ketamine was the thing for me, yeah. It just took away all my anxieties, all my worries. Any negative thought I had just took all that away.
You thought you had escaped the darkness, you thought it was behind you, and life was like, nope, you're not done.
Here it is, there's all the drugs back.
You need more, yeah.
And then it was mad. So I had a bit of time off there. I'd say, I think you had to wait 3 months to reapply. So I got back on the testosterone and I started taking Dianabol, the steroids. So I was like, I need to recover. I need to get back on this as quickly as I can. So I rang my mate who knew the careers advisor and I said, the minute you can get me in, you get me back in. I'm ready now. And all I did was just pull-ups all the time. Pull-ups, 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 pull-ups. And I thought, I'm not failing this one. So yeah, joined. Went for the PRMC, smashed out of the water, and then they gave me a start date of like 4 weeks after that. So I left again, joined the Royal Marines. I got to week, like 24 of training. So there's 32 weeks of training, and it gets progressively harder. You've got phase 1, which is week 1 to 14, and phase 2, which is week 15 to 32. I think I got to week 22, or so I guess it's years ago now, I can't remember. But and I was doing this walk on Dartmoor, or yomp they call it, doing this yomp on Dartmoor, and I had like a full kit on, so Bergen, you know, maybe 35, 40 kilograms, maybe a bit more, and then the webbing, 21 pounds, rifle 9 pounds, and extra ammo, food. And I was doing this yomp, and I got my thing out to Nav, and we had to like go up this like rocky thing and then go back the other side. It was super foggy. It's on Dartmoor. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dartmoor, but it's like I'm sure it's got its own microclimate in the UK, because it's like it's always windy, it's always wet, it's always raining. But like during the exercise, you could go down with heat stroke and you could go down with hypothermia
at the same time.
Yeah, because some people were getting too hot. Then you go over the hill and it'd be freezing. You know, it'd be like snowy. So it's like, what the hell is going here? So I remember coming over this hill and I got my map out to Nav, and I looked, and on the map you've got contours, which are like those orange things where they tell you what's the peak or what's and the further away a contour is how steep it is. So if they're super close together, it means it's like that. Whereas if the contours are further away, it means like it's just like
it's gradual, yeah.
So I looked, I was like, we need to basically go over here, because I was doing navigation at this point, and it's super rocky. I was like, we need to get this fucking job done. I can't remember what I was doing. Like, I had to go from this grid reference to that grid reference. So as we start going up, I get to the top, check my nav again, and I like jumped down this rock, and as I jumped down, my ACL went just tore straight away, and I was just like, oh my fucking god. And I was like, I can't move. And so the lads that I was with, like some of my best friends, Jack Hall, man, he fucking saved my life. Yeah, definitely. It was just he saved my life before on Hunter's Moon, which was this survival exercise. You do like 3 days something and then 2 days survival, and I got hypothermia on that. He took all of his dry clothes off himself because he made a fire. He wasn't allowed to talk to anyone. He took all his dry clothes off, stripped me naked because I couldn't move because my fire wouldn't work. And I was like this, you know, and then I stopped shivering, and that's the first sign of hypothermia, is when you stop shivering, you know, because your body can't keep it thingy. So he'd like took all my wet clothes off and because I got thrashed up and down the river, so they made me crawl through this river, and so I was burned, like soaking wet, you know. He took all my wet clothes off me naked, put all his dry clothes on me, and then put my wet clothes on him, and went and sat back by his fire. And saved my life, yeah, he really did. And he did it again, so we was in the same section, or similar sections, you know, like whatever. And he basically carried my Bergen with another guy, and my rifle, and my webbing. Everyone did.
I actually talked about this with my previous guest. He's in the Irish Defence Forces, and he was saying this, that when you're doing an exercise and you're carrying gear up a mountain or you're doing whatever, if one guy falls, like, you still have to get that gear up there. And that means that if you fall, like, that load has to be shared between everyone else. Yeah. So you don't want anyone to do that, you know.
Down, yeah.
And you have to help the person as well. So it's and he was describing this testament of brotherhood, and like, it is very much teamwork.
100%.
You're not going to make it alone.
I've never felt supported like that in my life, ever. Nowhere. And even still today, apart from my amazing partner Miriam, who I'd love more than anything, nobody really could come to that feeling of that moment where I'm broken physically, mentally, and I've got to carry this weight. And I remember just holding my map out, and my knee was just, and I think this one, it was meant to be 5 mil. The tendon's meant to be, or ligament's meant to be 5 mil, and I think this one was 2, and that one was 3. So I'd like lost 2 mil out of this one, and 4 mil out, 3 mil out of this one. So, you know, it was in so much pain. And I just remember looking at my thing, and everyone come up and was like, "Sam, you alright?" And I was like, "I'm fucked, boys." I was like, "My knee's gone." I was like, "There's no way I'm finishing this." And we looked, and I think we had like 6k left, and I was like, I'm not going to make that. And they was like, "Well, we have to. Like, there's no option." And we had these things called schmoolies, so you could like put up a schmoolie, and obviously it'd go up, and then if they saw it, they'd come and get you in the van. It was like a last resort thing.
I'm out. Yeah,
and then outside of a schmoolie, you have this other one, which is like that big, super small, and they're like little flares. But what you do is you put the schmoolie up, so then the team that are like doing the health and safety and everything, they think, fuck, there's a schmoolie, let's go over there. And then you put the little ones up every half an hour, or something, I can't remember exactly, and you basically sit still. But it was raining, it was soaking wet. That wasn't an option. We're on top of this fucking mountain thing, like, we had to get down. Like, there's no way they could get up to the top. So yeah, the lads carried my Bergen, my webbing. I think I carried my rifle, but at the start they carried everything, and yeah, we walked. We got back 6k, and I just said, like, I can't go on. I'm gonna have to come off exercise. My knees are mental. And then finished. You know, they took me back, and put me in this thing called Hunter Company, which is like rehabilitation centre, and it was amazing. But you know, I was just in there for so long. It was just never getting better. You know, I'd get better to a point and go back, and something happened, and it was just like one thing after another. So
at this point, are you discharged, or are you still in?
Still in. Yeah, so still in. So I made the conscious decision to leave, even though I mean, when I left and come back, I was so embarrassed to say that. I said to everybody, you know what, I got kicked out. You know, I left. I chose to leave myself. And
did you ever go overseas?
Not with the Royal Marines, no. So after I left, I got back on the test and the D-ball, because, you know, it's just, if you're taking those sort of things, you just recover so quick, you know. And within 6 months, I'm back in the army. But this time I joined the army, so I joined the Royal Engineers. So when you join the Royal Marines, that's technically the Navy. When you join the Royal Engineers, that's the army. And I know that the army, the Royal Engineers, had a 2-4 squadron, which was an attachment to the Royal Marines. So I could still see all my friends. I could go back down that route and get my Green Beret. That's all I cared about, you know. And during this time, I'm still somewhat on a spiritual journey of sorts. Like, my nana always used to talk to me about spirits. I viewed life differently. I was always like the odd one out, you know. I'd always ask questions, and people were like, why are you even thinking about that? And I'm like, why are you not, you know, like.
But there's a surprising number, I forget what it is exactly, but there's a surprising amount of people that apparently don't even have thoughts.
Like what?
Which I mean,
All I do is think. Like,
yeah, like, it sounds kind of cool, but it's like how?
yeah.
It's the brain is an interesting.
So interesting.
It's like okay, so take me back. You
Yeah. So joined the Royal Engineers. And then I had to go back to basic training, which was like the worst thing ever, because I was like, I've fucking just spent, however long in the Royal Marines, and now you're putting me back to
square
this.
one.
So obviously I smashed it all because it's super easy compared to the Royal Marines. So I got like best shot, best drill, soldier's soldier. Like I just got all these like awards during training, which was hilarious because I was like, well, I've already done all this thing. It was like the Army's test was like an 8-mile run or something. It was like. The Royal Marines test was like 32-mile run in 8 hours. It was like with more weight. It was the level, the caliber of.
It was a warm up.
Yeah, the caliber of person in the Royal Marines was just.
The standard was high.
Yeah, the standard was so high. Like, and that's what made me be better. So when I went to the army, and everyone, no disrespect to people in the army, but majority of people were fucking lazy. Like, just did shit admin. Like
the bare minimum.
Bare minimum. And so then what I then did was start doing the bare minimum, and I was just like.
You fall to their level.
Yeah, I was like, I dropped to their level rather than, and I went, what the fuck, I'm not doing this anymore. So I started upping it, so I started, ensuring that all my kit was polished, like iron, creases, everything all the time, and then, so I went from, I can't remember where that was now, went from there to Gibraltar Barracks anyway. I did like this bridge building course and learned about scatman, like blowing IEDs up with a plastic explosive and stuff. It's pretty cool. Once you'd done that, you then do a specialisation. So I did my specialisation in plumbing. Went to Chatham, did that for however long, 8 months or something. Then went from there to 2-4 Commando down in Devon to go try and get my Green Beret again, and did that. And on the course, as I'm prepping for the beat up, it's called, and it did beat me up. As I'm prepping, I got a cut on my leg. And I was just like, oh, it'll be fine. So I carried on just putting Savlon on it. And then, anyway, I got, I can't remember what the infection is now. It was something. And then, because I didn't tell anybody when I had the infection, it actually turned to septicemia, which is a blood infection. And I remember laying in bed one day and I was like, I think I'm going to die. I genuinely think I'm going to die, And by this point, I'm probably 18, I reckon.
Still
very young, 18, maybe 19. Sure, yeah, maybe a bit older than that, but I think it was about 18, 19. And I'm just laying in bed thinking I'm going to die. And I looked in my journal and I had like a 5-mile run, a 1.5-mile swim, a 5-mile run back, or something like that. Something like along those lines. So I couldn't run really, my leg was so swollen up, so I was like, right, I just need to get this done because this was a pass or fail. And after that I can say, hey look, I'm injured, and then until the next pass or fail thing, they sort of like can let you off if you're a decent lad. So I ran there, swam, ran back, and as I get back, I'm like feeling super ill, like something's not right. I was sat down like this, like we are. Look, if I check my heart rate's 61. It's pretty low right now. My resting heart rate, even after I've had the shower, I've chilled out, was 119, which is like, back then, my resting heart rate was like between 37 and 42.
It would be when you're extremely fit.
Super low, And my resting heart rate was 119, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like something's not right. And I was like, Sergeant, he's like, fuck's up with you? And he said, have you just seen a ghost or something? I can't remember. And like, I was like, oh well, I feel like I have. Yeah. He said, oh, what's up? I said, I don't feel too good. And he was like, can we get a medic in here? Like, because on the course there's people from all branches of the army. It's not just engineers. It's like you can come from anywhere. So there was a medic on the course. He said, can we get a medic in here? So he come in. He's like, can you just check him over, please? And he called me a shit cunt or something like that. Check that shit cunt over. So he starts checking me over and he puts his hand on my thing and he just goes, we need to take you to hospital right now. I was like, why? He's like, we need to go to hospital right now. And then the sergeant was like, oh yeah, good one, Duff. And he's like, Sergeant, I'm being gen. Like, and when you say I'm being gen in the army or on the Marines, it means like this is 100% serious. Like this isn't a lap time for laughing and joking.
Yeah.
He's like, Sergeant, I'm being gen. We need to take him to hospital right now. And he's like, holy shit. Rang, took me straight to hospital. Within half an hour I'm on a drip, and they basically said to me that you've got blood infection, and if you didn't come today and you was left tomorrow, you'd probably died. Yeah. But I was just so determined not to leave.
Was that your last straw?
Yeah, that was it for me. After that, I realised I'm never going to get this Green Beret.
This is just not for me.
It's not for me. Yeah. I drank ayahuasca at this point, actually. I thought that's something I thought to say is, so I'd always been on this spiritual journey, you know, always had this problem with drugs, like even in the military, like on a weekend, I'd go get off my head, like I'd find them, you know, it was like they was calling me. And then if I got an injury, so let's say I hurt my ankle, and I went to the med centre and said, oh, I've hurt my ankle, they give me paracetamol and ibuprofen. The week after, I'd go back and say, these haven't done anything, I need something stronger, I'm going on exercise, you know. So they say, alright, so they give me like codeine or cocodamol, which is, you know, pretty strong. But then what I'd say is, oh, well, I'm going on exercise for a few weeks, can I have another box so I don't have to come back? So now I had 2 boxes, because you get everything free. I had 2 boxes, I'll just put this down so I don't fall over. I had 2 boxes and I didn't have to, you know, go back. And now I was just like, take 5 to 10 a night, you know. And my friends were like, are you alright, are you sure? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm sound. Because I was like functioning, I'd still go to the gym. And that's because I'd done that all my life. I'd always like done the fitness, I'd just done everything, you know. I was a bit slow in thinking, but in terms of like, I was still a fit guy, like I was functioning addict, you know. I was still able to think, maybe a bit slower, but physically fine, writing.
You were able
fine.
to get shit done.
Able to get shit done, yeah.
But life was like, right, look, pal, this is not for you, this journey.
It's in for you, yeah.
But like, look, you've had to endure all that in order to do what you're doing now. There is no light without dark.
100%, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to do what you're doing now if it wasn't for that part of your life, which as of up until then, it was just pain, death, addiction, misery, just the darkest of the dark. Right.
Yeah.
So at what point did you decide to flip a switch and go, no, I'm built for more. I can do something better with my life.
So the reason how I got onto ayahuasca was because I knew I was addicted to drugs. I started looking at iboga. I don't know if you've ever heard of iboga. So no. Iboga is from the ibogaine plant.
Oh yes.
And it's from Gabon in Africa. So it's the bark, the root bark of the iboga tree, I believe. And you basically eat it, and the high or the journey lasts between 12 and 30 hours. You know, it's a long one. Yeah, it's a long one. But people who have been going with opiate addictions and not having any come down. So I was in 2-4 at the time, and I was like researching this, and I was like come across on this Reddit thing. There's a lot of stuff about Americans going over to Gabon and getting chopped up, basically, and never not going back. So I was like, what on the Reddit thing, back then, I don't know what it's like now, but if there was a comment, you could just up the comment, and the comment would go to the top of the comment section. So there was no such thing as like a like, it was like an up. So if you agreed with it, you'd click the up, and it'd go up, and more people upped it, the higher it went, and then as the question was there, the top comment was there. So I typed in something about iboga, and the top comment was, don't go to Gabon and get chopped up, go to Peru and get raped. So I was like, what's happening in Peru? Like,
why sounds better.
Why are they saying that? So I clicked on that comment, and then there was like other comments about that comment, and there was like, oh yeah, ayahuasca, all this. I was like, oh, what's ayahuasca? And, did my research. And I was like, oh, this is the thing. And I smoked DMT before, like 15 years old smoking DMT. So this was the active ingredient. Well, DMT is the active ingredient, but the ayahuasca is a MAOI inhibitor that enables the DMT to be orally active in the body.
And it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah. So DMT is about 10 minutes if you break, 15, maybe 20 if you break through properly, but ayahuasca, can be 4 to 8 hours probably, usually, yeah.
Well, I can talk about my ayahuasca experience, which I done actually in March of this year.
Yeah, wow.
Which was an interesting one. I mean, I had wanted to do ayahuasca for many years now, but my initial goal was to go to South America and do it properly. Yeah. And my now ex found this company that was doing it, these facilitators from Spain that were doing retreats in Ireland. And she just said, fuck it, I'm going. Yeah. And I was a little bit hesitant at first. I said, I don't know, like their website looks a bit scammy, like I'm not sure. But eventually I ended up booking it, and I said, fuck it, what's the worst that can happen? So we kind of showed up, and I didn't even have any expectations I didn't even know what the program was. I just kind of sat down. There was about 8 or 10 people in the sitting room drinking tea, getting to know each other, like what do you do, why are you here, like what do you want to gain from this? And after in about an hour or two, like one of the facilitators came in and he said, right guys, are you ready? And I was like, ready for what? He said, to take your medicine. I was like, oh, today? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I thought it was tomorrow. So I was completely caught off guard. And I had done psychedelics, many different ones, like growing up, and so I wasn't new to this world. But I was very interested, and I kind of said to myself, okay, let's fucking see what this whole thing's about, you know. And it was a very disappointing experience, actually.
Really?
No
Wow.
one purged, and no one had any psychedelic breakthroughs. That I didn't feel anything, other than that I was literally lying on the ground for about 4 hours, sobbing. I mean, I cried harder than I've ever cried in my whole life. It was like as if I was reliving my childhood, reliving the past events of my life in like 10 times the speed, and just coming to terms with everything and just getting that out of my body.
No visuals?
No visuals, no nothing.
That's interesting.
And the next day I was like, well, that was a scam. And we both said, like, let's get out of here. I said, yeah, right on, let's start packing our bags and let's leave. And then just before we were about to leave, I was like, well, we've paid now, let's just do the second one, because it was a 3-day retreat, but it was two ayahuasca sessions. And I said, well, we're here now, let's do the second one. So the second day we sat in a circle, we reflected on what everything that happened. And when it came to my turn to talk about it, I was like, I don't want to talk about it because nothing happened. And the facilitators were a little bit like, okay, what's with this guy? And also, anywhere I've ever went, I also stand out very much like you. I'm always the weird guy. I'm always like, what's his problem? Why does he view things differently? And this time around, I was like, well, nothing's gonna happen. So give it to me, and give me double of what you gave me last night, because it didn't work. But again, nothing happened. No visuals, no breakthroughs. The only thing that I did do is I took out a journal, which I completely forgot about. I only found it last week, and I just started writing. And I started writing, and I didn't know what I was writing. I found this journal a week ago in my wardrobe, and funny enough, everything that I had written was exactly what I needed to hear a week ago. It was exactly what I needed to hear at where I'm at in life right now. So it was like I was writing to my future self, which was a really fascinating and interesting perspective shift. But again, it was just like, I was a little bit giggly, but I was like, there should be more to this, you know. So the next day we did pack our bags and we left. And I found myself in my hometown, which is Arklow. And I found myself again going back in time. I found myself in places that I had been bullied in. I found myself in places where I got the shit kicked out of me. I found myself in my old school, and I was like coming to terms with everything that had happened to me as a child growing up there, and understanding that it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. And all the things I had been through prepared me for who I am today.
Yeah, nice.
And I was finally able to put that behind me, and over the next 2 weeks my life completely accelerated. I quit my job, I started a business, I put all fear, all things that were holding me back behind me, and I just started taking action. And I remember one of the guys telling me is that ayahuasca doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need.
Yeah, 100%.
So in hindsight, it was what I needed. You know, I didn't think that's what I needed, but that's apparently, you know, someone up above knows better, and like I just accepted it and went on with life after that.
Amazing. Ayahuasca it's my life now. Yeah, I devoted my life to ayahuasca about 4 years ago, and it's changed my life. Yeah. So yeah, the reason why that happens sometimes is when people brew ayahuasca, the very basic recipe is ayahuasca vine with chacruna leaf. That's it. What happens is they both have different things. So before ayahuasca was a psychedelic, it was actually called La Purgativo, which means the purgative. And it was just ayahuasca vine. There was no psychedelic plant. Right. And what would happen is, the more ayahuasca vine that you put in there, the more bodily feeling it is, and the more that you're just sick. So people would be jugging like 500, 400, 600 a litre worth of ayahuasca with water, you know. When the curanderos, which are the people the healers, the medicinal men and women, and a curandera if you're a woman. You do things called dietas. So before the curandera were a thing, you would call them vegetalistas, which a vegetalista is somebody who works with plants, sacred plants, and offers them to people. So a lot of curanderas, maestras, marias, they all believe that all plants are conscious in a sense, and what you do is to build a relationship up with a plant, you do a thing called a dieta. So dieta is where you spend time in solitude, and your diet is fully restricted. No salt, no sugar, no oil, no sex, no masturbation, no self-pleasure, no chocolate, no nothing. All I ate when I was in the jungle doing my dietas was 3 boiled eggs and 3 boiled potatoes a day. Lost 2 stone in 5 weeks. Yeah, it was
rough.
It was a rough one. Yeah, but what happens is, back to the original story, is when they would do dietas with ayahuasca, no chacruna leaf. They were like, oh, there's something else out here. So they started doing dietas with other plants, and they come across mapacho tobacco. So mapacho tobacco is seen as a powerful plant medicine in Peru and South Americas. The reason why it's different is the stuff that you smoke in cigarettes is called nicotina tabacca. Nicotina rustica is mapacho tobacco. Same genre, but different song, So they view it as very, very sacred, very healing. It contains, it's actually an MAOI as well, I believe, but it contains something that regulates serotonin in the brain. So there's actual health benefits to it. It's not just, yes, you do get tired in the lungs and all these problems, but when they're dieting mapacho tobacco, the spirit of mapacho tobacco said to them, you have to go into the jungle and mix this and this and this with your ayahuasca, and then you will get the medicine. So they went out and they listened to the plants, they got these leaves and they did what the medicine told them, and they brewed it up, and then that's how ayahuasca come about. Right. That is what I got taught by Maestro Jose Navas, who is a mestizo shaman from Iquitos, yeah. And this is the story, and that's how ayahuasca comes psychedelic. The Shipibo way, because I've also trained with 2 types of people. I've trained with the mestizo shamans, which are the Spaniards that mated with the Peruvian natives when the conquistadors invaded South America. So I spent time with them, but I also spent time learning the Shipibo Conobo way, which is another tribe in the Amazon basin, and they say that before Westerners went over and the white man come over and started paying them loads of money, the shaman, so say I was holding ceremony, just myself would drink. You would never drink. I would just sing to you for 5 hours. That's it. Damn. So you would never even do that. But then as Westerners went over there and was paying lots of money, and Americans were going and paying lots of money, they realised, there's a business here, I think, and they started offering it. But then what they realised is that now it's transformed into something completely different. Still very amazing. But the reason why that happens, like why you don't get visuals, is because you've got more ayahuasca vine than chacruna leaf. So chacruna leaf is the thing that contains DMT. So if I'm brewing medicine, I don't brew medicine like normal people. Like you can mix it multiple ways. So like I put ayahuasca vine, chacruna, chalaponga, jurema, mapacho tobacco. I want to make people be sick, whereas a lot of people in the UK and Ireland, I think, they don't put mapacho tobacco in their brew, and that is the purgative. You don't drink enough ayahuasca for it to make you be sick usually, so not many people are. Although stuff can still come up, when you put mapacho tobacco in there, that's the reason that because it rumbles your stomach, it gets it out of you. So
similar to mushrooms.
Yeah, similar to mushrooms. Yeah, it's like mapacho tobacco gets in there. Yeah, it really does. So that's why whoever brewed that medicine probably put too much ayahuasca in and not enough chacruna. That's why you had no visuals, but you had bodily sensations. Like you still cried. It was still an emotional process. There's still a purgative, a purging of sorts, which can be crying, coughing, laughing, being sick, shaking. That's a common one. Like I've stood up before and just shook like this for 4 hours non-stop and felt amazing after. Yeah.
Really
amazing. Yeah, just let's fully reset my nervous system. Yeah.
Okay, how often do you take the medicine?
Now, I don't know, a few times a month maybe.
A few times a month?
I reckon so, yeah, 2 or 3 times a month. No.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's a lot. What is your goal with with what you're doing? Like, if you were to describe it in one sentence, what do you hope to achieve with this part of your life, your part of your journey?
See how far it goes. That's my goal, really, to see how deep does shamanism go. Like, it's in everything. You know, I truly believe that everything, if it's living on planet Earth, Pachamama, is conscious. 100%. All animals, all people, all trees, plants, rocks. Like, those things are 100%.
Everything.
Yeah,
the couch we're sitting on, the mics we're talking to, everything.
To a degree, yes, absolutely, yeah. I feel like once it's been man-made or altered in that sense, it does sort of lose that bit, you know, like a wooden table might not, like this wooden table isn't the same as a tree, you know, because the tree's living, it's breathing, it's connecting, it's talking to other trees through the mycelium in the floor, you know, whereas this is just, it's a bit stuck now.
It's dead matter, yeah.
So although yes, it might be slightly conscious, I feel like those things that are living, breathing, conscious, connected to Pachamama, connected to one another, like, yeah, they're definitely alive, yeah. So my idea is just to keep learning as much as I can about shamanism non-stop until I die, yeah. And during that process, you know, as you become a shamanic practitioner, people think that our job is to go away and heal everybody, and it's not. You know, our job is that we can heal ourselves and show other people how to do the same. You know, I can't heal anybody. You know, like,
you can only give them the tools. They need to do the work.
And hold space. People say holding space like it's just like grabbing this ball of kinetic energy. It's not. What holding space is providing a space for somebody to go through their own process to initiate their own healing. You know, and that's all holding space is. Sometimes you're holding space for me right now. You know?
Correct.
You're coming here, you've set up this camera, you've set up these microphones. You're holding the space for me to be vulnerable, to share my story with you. So you're doing shamanism right now.
Yeah, damn, okay.
You know? So people think that shamanism is this wacky thing that you have to like wear feathers on your head all the time. That's amazing. I love wearing feathers, you know. I really do like playing that character at times.
But sometimes it's just stopping someone at a cafe and having 5 minutes of your time with them.
5 minutes and helping a woman across the street and being in relationship. There's a Quechuan word called Ayni, A-Y-N-I, and it means today for you, tomorrow for me. That's the direct translation. And it's a Quechuan word. So Quechua is a language from the Andean mountains. That is a Quechuan word. And I live by that all the time. Like, how can I be in the right relationship with planet Earth, people, you know? Myself, my gut, my liver, my body, the water I drink, the people I roll with on the mat, you know, the people I don't speak to. How can I be in a relationship with them, you know? And it's like, do things for them that they don't even know that's going on, you know? So I go and do offerings to the land, you know, dispatchers we call them. And I do dispatchers for people that I've never met. I say, okay, today I'm going to do a dispatcher for that woman I saw crying on the train. You know, and I do an offering to land and say, look, I'm sending you healing and love and hopefully whatever's going on in your life, you can get through it, you know? And nobody ever sees those things. That's the job of a shaman, you know?
Yes, but you're doing it with the right intent. You're doing it because you want to.
Yeah.
You're not doing it. You're not doing it for glory. You're not doing it for Instagram likes. You're not doing it for external validation.
Yeah. At the start, that's being part of my journey as well. Is like when I first started the spiritual journey, I was like, I need to tell everyone I've drank ayahuasca. You know, and I even got ayahuasca tattooed on the back of my head. Like, I've got the Shipibo Conobor tattooed on the back of my head. Like, okay. You know, it is my entire life.
Yeah, no, I can resonate with that. Like the day after I did my one, I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell everyone. But then instantly I was like, wait, no one gives a fuck.
No one cares.
No one gives a fuck. And actually, no one is actually even going to understand what I'm talking about. So I said, there's no point.
Yeah. You sound so crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I remember going back to Hull, where I was from, and everyone was like, so what was ayahuasca like? I was like, oh my god, I like this, and they're like, like almost just like blank me. You know, I was different. I had changed, you know, but
I spoke about this with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, my first episode. My professor actually, he described the concept of living through experiences. He said that you can listen to me, you can listen to what I'm saying, and the best case scenario is you pay attention and you actually know what I'm talking about. But an hour from now, you won't remember this conversation.
Yeah.
You won't feel what I felt when I'm describing the thing I'm talking about. He says only you know that feeling, and only you can live through your own story. And even the people that are closest to you in your life, they don't understand.
No.
They can listen, but it doesn't actually mean much. You know, only which I suppose it's sad in a way. And even living through the same experience side by side with another person, you could have completely two opposing reactions to it. You know, when I traveled the world with my ex, like, we did the same shit every day. We saw the same shit. We met the same people. At the end of it, I asked her, I said, would you do that again? And she said, oh, absolutely, it was amazing. And she said, would you do it again? I said, no. No, I wouldn't. And she said, why? Because I said it was too much. It was just too fucking painful, like what I went through and how I resonated with everything that I experienced, whereas she loved it. She didn't feel that much from it. Does that make sense? The same thing. Side by side, we experienced it completely differently. You know?
I find that happens a lot in, like, upbringings, you know? Myself and my brother, he's never not spoken to my father, whereas I did. I didn't speak to my father for years, you know, because he just wasn't a nice guy. Still somewhat isn't, you know. Can't even ask him to do a simple task, you know, because he's just don't do it, you know. But my brother spoke to him the whole time, and everyone was trying to say, oh, why did you speak to your dad? Why did you speak to your dad? I'm like, because everyone's just ignoring all these facts, you know. Like, look at all these facts. Look, everything is not done for us, or done to us, you know. And I remember I was like speaking to my brother once, and I was just like, what happened, bro? Like, you know, and he's like, oh, not really. Sort of like brushed under the carpet. And I was just like, you're either oblivious that those things didn't happen to you, or you just don't want to look at them. Like, maybe so we lived the same experience.
How do you feel about your father right now today?
I love him, man. Yeah, love him. Yeah, he
showed you who not to be.
100%, yeah.
He showed you what not to do.
And he showed me how powerful love is by not giving me any.
Right.
You know. So like now I can say with an open heart, I love that man. You know, and that is the hardest thing I've ever had to do is let him back in my life and show him, or prove to him, or prove to myself, you know, more so than prove to him the power of shamanism. That if I didn't do shamanism, I'd never speak to that man ever again. Ever again, yeah.
Well, you also broke the generational cycle.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were to ever have kids now, you know what not to do.
100%, yeah. I show up for them every day.
Which is actually funny enough. Like, we could fix a lot of the world's problems within one generation. If one generation collectively decided to heal and to actually try in life, we would fix so many problems that we've been dragging on for generations and generations and generations, because our parents did it, and our grandparents did it to them, and their great grandparents did it to their grandparents, and it's like, okay, but it has to stop somewhere, otherwise it's gonna continue.
It's gonna continue, yeah. This is what I try and teach, like, the men, you know, like, I've got a saying, my first shamanic teacher, we don't talk anymore, we had a falling out, and I always say that I'm going to be the teacher that I wanted her to be. You know, I'm not going to put any limitations on my students. You know, and I teach shamanism from a very different perspective. You know, I try and take like a very philosophical, epistemological outlook on life. And what I mean by that is thinking about how do we know the things that we know. You know, people often say that they know things. Like what do you know? What do you actually know? Like, I always question people's integrity in the sense of, and people always have a go at me, you know, like, oh, why do you always question everything? It's like, well, why are you not, you know? The only things that I teach in shamanism are the things that have worked for me. If it hasn't worked, I will not teach it. What's the point? Like, what? I want to teach this thing that I've never done in my life. Like, imagine me trying to, like, teach a berimbolo in jiu-jitsu. I've never done a fucking berimbolo. I won't even tell you how to start. It's like me then trying to go and teach that.
You
like,
need to live through it yourself.
You need to live through it. So what I teach people is, all I can go off is experience. You know, I can't tell you sometimes the ins and outs of why things work. I can't tell you. Sometimes you're asking a question that I don't have an answer to. But what I can do is say, go away, practice it, and then you tell me if it works. Because then you know. And if it doesn't, I'll say, oh man, that's a shame. Let's try and find you something that does.
Try another way, yeah.
Because just because it's worked for me doesn't mean it's universal. Shamanism isn't universal. People are not gonna. Like, when I first started, I was like getting crystals and stuff. I don't even own a crystal now, really, probably. It's like my outlook on shamanism has completely and utterly changed. Yeah, what shamanism is for me is being connected to planet Earth, Pachamama, being the best person that you can possibly be, showing up for yourself every day, and traveling to somewhere inside of yourself or extraterrestrial in terms of the lower world, the upper world, the here and now. in Norse mythology you've got the 9 realms. I believe that these, although in and of themselves are places, if you make them salient, they are, if you're not into that at all, those places can also just be parts of yourself that you're just figuring things out. So I have the ends of the spectrum of students. I have students that everything is spiritual. So it's like, if they saw these 2 things there, they'd be like, oh, well, that 2 means this and this 2, and they go off on this tangent.
Everything's connected.
Yeah, everything's connected. Brilliant. Then I have people that come to me and they're just not into shamanism at all, but they've seen me and my journey, and I don't want that life. I was like, okay, implement this, implement that. This is the science behind it. Somewhat that's been proven so far. Like even just cacao, right? People think cacao is just raw, is just hot chocolate. It is. In a sense of, yes, it is just raw chocolate, but look at it from a scientific perspective. It contains magnesium, iron, it's so nutrient dense. It contains anandamide, which is one of the only beans in the world that contain that chemical, and that gives you a runner's high for twice as long. Just look at the science, bro. It's like, yes, let's take all the spiritual stuff out there. You don't have to have a ceremony for 2 hours like I do with me and my partner, and I hold cacao ceremonies. There is that shamanic aspect to it. But even if you just drink it for the health benefits, you are going to benefit. It's a natural serotonin regulator. It gives you serotonin uptake.
We've been given it for a reason.
Yeah, it's like, back in the day, in the Mayans used to call it the food of the gods. Right. Like, it was given by the gods to help the planet Earth, And my Ecuadorian teacher, Dia, she says, like, the cacao is going to change the world, It's not all these magical plant medicines sometimes, like ayahuasca and iboga. They're amazing at times. It's like, what can we do day to day? You can't drink ayahuasca every day. You'd lose it. You would. But what can you do? You can drink fucking hot chocolate. Like cacao. Not cocoa, it's different. Cacao, raw chocolate. It's got theobromine in. Good for your body, good for your teeth, good for the blood. It helps viscosity of the blood, helps you stop getting, what is it called?
Heartburn?
Yeah, where your things clog up, blood clots.
Right.
Helps stop blood clots. There's so much benefit to it, So I think what shamanism is for me is remembering and implementing connection with Mother Earth Pachamama, all of its inhabitants, and that's it. That's all I care about. Yeah.
Well, to me, you are the essence of the word warrior, because you've been through hell and now you're showing people your journey and showing people that, like, there is more to life, and especially resonating with people who might be growing up or have been brought up in a poor environment with drug addiction and abuse and violence and crime, and thinking that, like, they just got a bad roll of the dice and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what my life is, and now, like, let me just write it out, or let me just end it on my own terms. Whereas when you're put in that situation, like, God gives you 2 options. He says, you can either do that, or you can fucking fight, and you can figure out how to get through this pile of shit. And once you do, I feel like you start living in alignment with your dharma. You start living out your soul's purpose, and you become the person that you needed when you were down there.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you can do that, I mean, what else is there left to life? I feel like you've completed life.
Yeah.
Everything after that is a bonus.
Yeah.
I often say, like, I've already done and achieved more than my 15-year-old version would have ever imagined. Like, if you told me 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Danny, when you're 27, like, this is what you'll end up doing, I'd have laughed at you, and I said, there's no fucking way. Good luck writing that movie. That's not going to happen. But fast forward to today, I'm like, oh shit, it did happen. So anything for me from this day on, like maybe the last 2 years, is like, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
It's a bonus because I've done everything you're quote unquote supposed to do in life, according to society's, expectations. Like, I've done it all, and it wasn't it. It wasn't fulfilling me. So I said, okay, what else is there? Let's find out.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that. I think, like, for me, like my end goals don't exist. I don't necessarily have like an end goal. My goal is continuous. It's just like how much I just want to learn. I just want to keep learning. And I always say to my students, like, I'm also only human. You know, I make mistakes. Don't put me on a pedestal. I'm not any better than you. I'm not any worse than you. We're the same. We're the same person. You know. You have strengths. You have weaknesses. I have strengths. I have weaknesses. I think I'm good at. Things I'm not good at. You know, things I'm still learning now. You know, and I've been doing this shamanic journey and stuff for 8 years. You know, 8 years. Like what I was saying there about the army. I drank after I got onto this Reddit thing. I drank ayahuasca at like 18 or something, like 20. Something mad. Like I just super young, you know. And I was still taking drugs and then stopping drugs for 2 weeks, going and drinking ayahuasca, and then getting back on the drugs. It was just like this cycle until I'd probably say about a year or two in, where ayahuasca said to me, "Look, like this can't keep going on. Like there's two options. You can either go down the drug route, or
we know how that ends."
And yeah, sort of like I didn't drink ayahuasca for like 8 months or something, you know, for a long time. And after that, I was leaving the army. I'd applied to leave and stuff, but because my mental health was deteriorating and you know, everything was just going downhill, they sort of like kept me in because they had a duty of care. But the thing that was the problem was the army. So it was like a catch-22. It was like they kept me in because they thought that was what was best, but I told them that's what was worse. Yet they still did it because they had to, and it was just like this catch-22 perpetual cycle. So I actually ended up trying to take my own life again, and I got put in Basingstoke psychiatric ward for a few weeks. Put me on all these antidepressants and antipsychotic tablets and all these things. And during my time in there, I was like sat in this like padded room, and they said to me like, I was meditating, and I was trying to connect with something outside of myself. I didn't care what it was. Call it God, call it ayahuasca, call it my mum. I don't care what you call it. Names to me are just limitations. There was something there. Something spoke to me, and this thing said to me in that time. She said, "Devote your life to the plants, and your life will change forever." And I said, "What do you mean, devote my life to the plants?" And that's all she said, really, sort of thing. She said a bit more, really, but like that's like the theme, you know.
Do you think that when you were sitting in that room, that was like the fucking rock bottom for you? Or was it, let me rephrase that, was it a pivotal point in your life where you were like, I need to make a decision here?
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of the two. Yeah, I think that rock bottom, I've been there 3 times, so I think that was my 4th time attempted suicide. Yeah, and someone carried on bringing me back. So I was like, I'm either really shit at killing myself, or something.
Can't even fucking do that right.
Can't do that right. Something's trying to keep me here. So you know, during that time, I devoted my life to the plants. Yeah, and I left. And what was then happening in this psychological place, psychiatric ward, is they'd say to me, I'd go in for a meeting with a psychiatrist and I'd talk like we are, and she'd be like, "Oh hey, how are you doing?" I said, "You know, I'm feeling a lot better. You know, like I'm just super ready to go home. Like I'm done with this. Like those people that are in there are like not all right. You know, they have like schizophrenia." And I was like, I'm done. Like I'm a normal guy. I just need, yeah, you know, thank you. So then I'd leave and I'd stand outside, and then I'd hear him say, "Yeah, well, he thinks he's all right, so he's definitely not," type thing. And I'm like, how do you get out of this place? It's like, I tell him I'm okay. They then say, "Oh, well, he thinks he's okay, so he's not." But then I say I'm not okay. Then they keep you in. Right. So like, how do you leave? I was like, right, I just need to do everything they ask. Just be a yes person, which is not like me. I'm never a yes person. Okay. So there was like, Sam, tablets. Go back to your room, sit there. That's it. Just sit there, yeah. So sat there for a while, yeah. Good few hours, 10 hours a day, just sat in my room.
How long were you in there for?
About 4 6 weeks, I think.
Right.
4 to 6, not 46. Mm-hmm. 4 to 6 weeks, I think. And then they said, yeah, you can go. So left, and then left. And then the week after, so I left on like say the Friday. On like the Wednesday, I went cold turkey on all these tablets. So even though I was addicted to, I was coming off. I used to like. The reason why that happened was as I was leaving the military, I actually got on fentanyl. So fentanyl is like it's like 10 times stronger than heroin and morphine. Yeah.
That's a poison.
Yeah, poison. Yeah, that was the moment I was like, I need to fucking go to hospital. I'm gonna die.
This has gone too far.
Yeah. So then I ended up trying to commit suicide, and you know, anything took me down that path anyway. But after that, after I heard that voice in the thing, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. So the week after I went cold turkey, I got a real high strength CBD oil, like 1,500 milligram or something. You know, it's usually if you go to like Holland & Barrett, it's like 250 milligrams. Something super small. It was like 5 times that. Did that. Had no coming down off any of my tablets. Within 4 weeks again, I drank ayahuasca. And the first ayahuasca ceremony I had, I got married to the medicine.
Okay.
Mental, I know, but I got married to the medicine. I got married to ayahuasca, and she said to me, "You have now got to devote your life to the plants and to being a curandera and to serving the Madre de ayahuasca." So that's what I did, and yeah, never touched a drug since. Been sober now.
What made you What made you turn to an individual who seeks to help other men?
Oh yeah, the brotherhood. Yeah, that's So like growing up, obviously I had my fair share of like, you know, suicide, self-harm. Like my best friend Joe, like we've been best friends since for as long as I can remember. Like I used to like cut my wrist and that, and I used to when I was doing that I'd wear a long sleeve, but I'm always warm, so I'd never wear long sleeves. So then my best friend Joe, he caught on and went, why are you wearing a long sleeve? I was like, oh no. He's like, you never wear long sleeves. I was like, you know, all these things would happen. And my friend died at school, he committed suicide. Another guy that I knew, although I didn't know him personally, this guy called Leo from my secondary school, he committed suicide. It was like just death. And when I joined Royal Marines, I met some guys, you know, some really amazing lads. Once I then left, we didn't really stay in touch, but I did stay in touch with a good friend of mine called Jack Hall. And he would be like, oh my God, you never guess what, Fingers committed suicide. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, so I think up until about 2 years ago, maybe, yeah, it was 2 years ago now, my best friend Foz, so there's a group of us that are together, so there's 5 of us, let's say, and Foz was one of those 5, and we are like the closest of friends in the military. We did everything together, all day, every day, you know. Yeah, they're my brothers, they would do anything for me. I've lived at their houses, you know. We make sexual jokes with each other's partners and like, you know, proper banter, and like the relationship is just amazing, you know. We never had that ever anywhere.
A lot of people, when you ask them, men especially, like what was the best time of your life, they will say like college football, army, football, whatever. It wasn't about the activity, it wasn't about the sport, it was about the community, it was about the brotherhood.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, these amazing men, and then 2 years ago I was just about to go into a ceremony, and I was literally holding a ceremony at 7 PM, and at 20 to 7, bear in mind everyone's sat in there, I've got 32 people in there for a ceremony, and 20 to 7 my friend or someone called me and said, hey bro, and it actually rang me twice and I cancelled because I was like, I'm in ceremony, what's up? But you need to answer the phone, and if he says that, you know, I was like, shut up or something, and he put Jen. I was like, oh God. Rang, I was like, you alright? And he said, there's no easy way to say this. I was like, what? He's like, Foz has killed himself. I was like, what? And I just fucking burst out crying. I was like, Foz, like our Foz? He's like, yeah, Foz has killed himself. I was like, fuck off. I was like, there's no way. And I just couldn't stop crying. I was like, I need to go to ceremony. I can't let them down. Like, these people are coming to me for help. So I was like, right, I was like, okay, I'll ring you after. I put the phone down and I went to ceremony, and I just was honest with them. I said, look guys, I've just had the worst news ever. I was like, my best friend's just committed suicide. I was like, I'm going to still hold your ceremony for you, but I just want you to know that if I just need to take myself out for a minute just to gather my thoughts, just let me do that and I'll come back. And
it's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, and that was one of the best ceremonies I've ever held in my life.
Really?
Yeah, start to finish, the best, I think. Yeah. It was amazing, and I actually met Foz twice on ayahuasca since leaving. Since after that, I met his spirit, and we spoke and everything. Yeah, that's another journey. But yeah, so after that really affected me. You know, I went down into depression again, and I was like, started smoking again, and I go through phases of smoking, but I don't recognise it for a bit, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Addiction's coming back. Right, get rid of that. You know, back to the start.
Creeps in.
And then if I smoke, I'll drink, and then if I drink, I'll do drugs, and then there's no end.
Spirals.
So if I need to catch the smoking is the first sign of me that my addiction's coming back up. But so I remember I was smoking again, and I was like going out. I was like on the verge of suicide. You know, again I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I can't get away from this. Can't get away from this. And then I was like, I had this revelation at Medicine Festival, not this year, the year before, where I was like, I took some medicine and I was like, I need to do something about this. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking set up a men's work group where I can try and just help people, and I'll just offer what I know, you know, not try and follow the men's work group theme of like doing the archetypes or the masculine archetypes by Carl Jung, doing any of that. That's not for me. What I'll do is I'll set up a men's group, and it's called the Brotherhood, the Brotherhood_UK on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I was like, I'm going to do it. So I did, set it up, and then this year we've had sold out retreats. We've just sold out another retreat in Morocco. Next year we're climbing Mount Toubkal, the highest mountain in the Atlas region of North Africa. Next October.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's sold out. It's sold out now. But October 2025, we do have 2 more retreats. So we've got a mixed retreat, which is men and women, because women were like, "Oh my god, I'd like this would be amazing for me." And so we've put on a mixed one first, and then we're going to do another one. Date's going to come out in January. So, yeah, just sold out retreats. Like first retreat had 16 men on. Done workshops at some of the biggest spiritual festivals in the UK. Like we held a workshop at Medicine Festival, which is like, you know, had 9,000 people, and I held a men's workshop called The Men That Gather, and we talk about the vagus nerve and how, you know, we can help people heal just by teaching them to sing and hum. You know, people think like, oh, you've got to go through this huge process. You don't. You just have to make a noise. And what that does is that regulates your nervous system, and it brings you back into the parasympathetic nervous system state. It takes you out of fight or flight. So,
Takes you out of your head as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stops you from thinking about nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I get people to rattle. Get a rattle or shikapa, which is a bunch of leaves. And when you rattle, it's a somatic exercise.
Yeah, anytime I hear that though, it brings me back to my ayahuasca experience. It triggers me so much. Like I hear someone shaking a thing of Tic Tacs, I'm like, fuck, what's happening? It's coming on again.
You'd hate my house. I sing all the time.
Yeah.
My missus loves it now. But at the start, she's like, fucking hell.
It's a lot.
Got to deal with this guy singing 8 hours a day, you know.
I think I actually thought about this not long ago. Like we as men used to charge into battle shoulder by shoulder, and we didn't care. We didn't care that could be your last hurrah, because you had 10,000 men, 10,000 brothers there with you, and you had all one common goal. And you more than likely you fought for something you truly believed in, which was to protect your land, to protect your tribe, your family, your women, your children. And we used to bring each other up, you know. And I'm not saying we don't do that, it still exists, but it used to be on the macro level. Now it exists on the micro level. And instead what we do now collectively is tear each other down. We point fingers at someone else and we say, oh, fuck him, he's doing this, or oh, he's not good enough. Like we go into the gym, and how often do you see someone performing an exercise incorrectly, but you don't even help him?
Yeah.
But you have the knowledge to help him, but instead you laugh at him. Which to me is insane, how we've distanced ourselves from each other. And I'm not sure if that is subconsciously being done, or if that's something that's like a product of the society we've been bred into in 2024. You know, but like I do hope that we regain that and people wake up and realize, hey, if I help you and I bring you up, we're better as a team, and I hope that you would do the same for me. And collectively, like, let's fucking help each other. Like, you know, going to jiu-jitsu, what's the number one goal with everyone coming in? It's to learn. It's to grow. It's so I can learn a new move and you can learn a new move. Together we can become better. Does that mean that we need to sometimes kick the shit out of each other? Yeah, absolutely. It's the only way you're going to grow. You know, and I'm not sure if men have become too lazy and too comfortable, and they don't want to get uncomfortable. They don't want to heal their past trauma. They don't want to get better. But to me, like, that's a alien concept. Like, I don't understand how you couldn't.
Yeah.
Because there's so much there. There's so much room, especially for men. I'm not saying not for women, but especially for men, to get better and to actually try. Like, when is the last time, to anyone listening to this, when's the last time you actually tried? When's the last time you actually fucking gave it your all? And no matter what it is, whether it's your relationship, whether it's yourself, when's the last time you put yourself first and actually put in a solid effort? And you'd be surprised, like, when you do that, like, the things that happen to you in your life. You improve as a person. Your relationship with your partner improves. Your kids, your family, your job, everything becomes better when you actually give a fuck and try.
I agree.
What is, if you could describe in one sentence, your goal with the Brotherhood?
So originally my goal was to save at least one man. Yeah, I've done that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've done that quite a
Thank
few
you.
times now. Yeah, so even this year alone, like, yeah, I'd probably say we're at least over 10 people now that I've saved from suicide. Yeah, so 10 people, man. It's like people think, oh, it's only 10. Fucking hell, 10 lives. And when I first set it up, I had fucking messages every single day. Oh, I want to commit suicide. I want to kill myself. And I was like, what the fuck? What do I do? I was like, look, there's these helplines that they can give you direct help. I can't do this. This is a lot for me. But I said, what I can do is I can give you tools, but you have to come and even if you can't afford it, then this is why I try and put everything as cheap as I can. Like, I'm taking people to Mount Toubkal for a 4-day retreat for 350 quid, including accommodation and food.
Damn. That's nothing.
Nothing. And the reason being is because I want to help men. I don't want to rip men off. But I also have to live.
Of course.
This takes a lot of time to prep, to call, to send emails. Like, all that time I'm not earning any money. Like,
This is your job.
This is my job, yeah. So I try and make it bare minimum. I always, if someone can't afford it, I give them discount. I allow for monthly payments based off Word. I don't even set up direct debit. It's just based off Word. So originally my plan was to save a man, and I've done that. Now my plan is to provide a space where we can help men, but also provide a space where we can teach men how to help other men. Because I'm only one man. I'm only one guy. If you would come and work with me for 6 weeks, I could help you. But in those 6 weeks, I don't have time to help him, and then him, and then him, and then him. But if I said to you, hey, look, let me help you. After those 6 weeks, I helped you. I then said, right, what we can do is I'll teach you this stuff, then you can go away and set that up. You can go in, and then this is how it expands. A bit like a pyramid scheme, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, and I've no doubt me and you are going to work and see each other again in the future.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, if you're interested in supporting the cause, I'm going to have all the links to everything down below as well. It's not a huge platform yet, but
no, not yet.
Hopefully
But,
it grows.
You've just got to keep going with it. When I set up Shamanism, I was up north at the time, and just as a quick little off story, when my mum passed away, she left me some money, like 7 grand, 10 grand or something, for my 18th birthday. And when I got to 18, I spent all on drugs in 3 months. Yeah, everything. Just took so much drugs. Just did everything. So then, like, upon reflection, like when I left and I was setting up this business, my first ever business was called Whispering Winds, a holistic healing, right? And I set it up in Hull, and I was like, right, I'm going to do this business thing. And I was having maybe 1 client a week for like the first month, 2 months. And then all of a sudden it just went dead. I was just like, what the fuck? So I saved up some money. I set up this, or paid for as much marketing as I could, 3 grand's worth of marketing in 2 months, and got no clients. I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm done. So now I think 6 months went by. So I set up another company called MAD, which stood for Motivated and Disciplined, M.A.D. And basically people would donate money to me, and I'd go do a MAD challenge, and then I would donate all that money to charity. So as long as my expenses were covered, I wasn't bothered. So I used to row marathons on the rowing machine. Did like 7 marathons, 7 days in a row on a rowing machine. Yeah. I did another marathon for Carlson Gracie Hull. That's the first ever marathon I did on the rowing machine. And then another one, I biked from Blackpool to Hull, which was about 150 miles. Did that. I raised like 800 quid for the Rainforest Alliance to help buy parts of the Amazon rainforest to stop it getting burnt down for agriculture.
Which on that topic, I don't know if you've seen recently, but it is in a bad way.
Bad way, yeah.
And there's a lot of, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a lot of deforestation, man-made deforestation and forest fires that are being caused right now in order to clear up space to raise cattle for exportation to China.
Yeah.
And just fucking think about that for a second, because without the rainforest, we are fucked.
Yeah. Takes up the Amazon rainforest takes up something. Don't quote me on the number figures. Double check online, but I'm sure it takes up like 75%.
It's the lungs of Earth.
Yeah. And I think it's the rainforest and the ocean. They both produce the most, or work with enough oxygen or something else. Like, holy shit.
Not to mention the flora and fauna which is being killed in the process.
Have you been to the Amazon?
Not yet.
Mate,
If I make it out of the Middle East, I'm sure that'll be the next thing.
Flying over the Amazon rainforest is the scariest thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because like, I don't really get scared. I have symptoms of anxiety sometimes, but I don't get scared. I'm not fearful. I'm anxious. They are different feelings. Anxious is like, fear is like, you know, like
Yeah.
I'll even if I'm anxious, I'll still go into it. Whereas if you're scared, you don't because you're scared. You know, I feel like there's a slight difference there. But I was a bit like, I got up and I was like, holy shit, the Amazon's massive. And I was like looking out the window and I was like, holy shit, the Amazon is fucking massive. And for as long as I could see that way, there was just green. And I was like, right. And I looked and like on the back of this plane, there was like 3 seats at the back. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the other window. So I went to the other window and it was just green. For as long as I could see, there was no clouds, nothing, green. It got to the point where it went green, blurry, and then it was just a line where the horizon never ended. And I was like, going down, and I'm flying over the Andean mountains, right? And like flying the mountains, like where that mat is. I'm like, oh shit, we're so close.
We crash here.
Honestly, I'm like, what the fuck? No, I'm like seeing like a little tiny town with like 3 houses on the top of a mountain. I'm like, what the? I'm like flying, and we was flying for an hour and a half or something. Yeah, I'm sure it was like an hour and a half, an hour and 2 hours maybe, over the Amazon rainforest, and the whole time, all I saw was green. Flying 500 miles an hour, and all you see is green for 2 hours. What the fuck? Like people, you can't even comprehend
Wrap
the
your
size.
brain around that one.
So then, when I got to Iquitos, which is like deep in the Amazon, so like the way that it stops is when you go to the capital Lima, you go to Pucallpa and then Iquitos. So I went to Iquitos and I remember going on this like little jungle tour with my teacher Jose, and I'm on this like little ped and like going and I remember just drove past like he's like, oh well, un poco jungla, which is like a
small jungle.
Yeah, a small jungle. It's like un poco jungla, and I mate, was driving down this un poco jungla
small
like
jungle
45 minutes, bro. Yeah. 45 minutes. I was like, when's this end? You know, he's like,
where's the big jungle?
yeah, like, I thought it was just one thing, but it was like, no, there's like the rivers, the way that rivers like run around the joint, so that would be like one small jungle, he says, and then if they're connected, you know, that's thingy, but like when they've got a gap and it's separated by a river, that's classed as like its own little thing, he says. So but yeah, like, oh man, it's fucking mental there.
A memorable experience.
Yeah, changed my life. Best time of my life ever. Yeah.
I to compare that, I would say the desert.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been.
Never, no.
Oh man, it's before I've ever been in a desert, my idea of it was that it's boring. I mean, it's a desert. There's nothing there.
No.
Fuck, there is millions of years worth of history.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, there is signs of life. There is crystals. There is vegetation. There is branches where there's no trees. It's like, and when you're in the middle and like. Look, like, if you can imagine you're standing in the middle of a plain with nothing around you, and as far as you can see, again, like the desert, it's just yellow. It's yellow/white. There's nothing, but yet simultaneously there's everything. Because you realize in that moment, oh wait, this used to be the ocean floor.
Holy shit. Yeah.
And then you might see some mountains in the distance, and you think, oh, those used to be underwater. And it brings you back, and you kind of think, I'm so small, I'm so insignificant right now. And I fell in love with the desert, which is something I never thought I'd say, but there is just so much fucking history there. One of my coolest experiences was actually waking up in my Defender to the noise of something nibbling on my car. And when you're out in nature, you kind of go, well, fuck, like, I don't want to look outside, but I kind of have to open the door and see what's going on. And it was like maybe 15 camels that had just gathered around, and they were just like licking the car and seeing what the fuck this thing is. And a farmer came up to us, and no language that we could speak together was there. Like, it was just like hand gestures and whatnot. And he just brought over a bottle of fresh camel milk, straight there and then. And it was sweet and salty at the same time.
Yeah, wow.
Because of the vegetation that the camels eat in the desert is salty. Because, like I said again, it used to be underwater.
That's insane.
and there's this strange energy. It almost feels like everything that used to be there is still there, and it's waiting to be revived. You know, like we could go back to the cycles of the Sahara Desert. Like, don't quote me on this, but 25,000 years ago, it used to be green. It used to be full of water. Now it's nothing. But it's only a matter of time before it goes back to that again. Yeah. So, do you think that maybe perhaps going back to the Amazon, we could be fearful and scared of what's happening? But do you think that Mother Nature knows what it's doing, and it'll figure out its own way and create a new green habitat?
I believe yes, but everyone has to die first.
Yeah. Everyone, you mean us?
All the humans, yeah. Same as last time. You know, I said last time. I said that like I know what I'm talking about. In this ayahuasca journey, she basically showed me that humans go through this cycle, right? Humans go through a cycle of destroying everything. Everyone dies apart from a few people. All Earth grows back.
We try again.
Yeah, we try again. Destroy everything.
And every time we do that, we develop through a different path, and we end up with a different result.
Yeah. And
different technology, different, you know.
Even more advancements than last time, but like the outcome's still the same. It's this death and rebirth, you know. And I think that is polarity. It's the cycle of life, you know. Like, I just don't believe that people have. I often talk about awareness, the word awareness, like. And I'm sort of still figuring out what that actually means, you know. But I feel like some people just don't have the awareness, and this is where I come up with the saying: there's a difference between acknowledgement and understanding. Okay, you can acknowledge that something's there, but not understand it. So if I said to you, right, here's a car, this is how it works, you're like, brilliant. You don't understand how it works.
No, I have no idea.
But you acknowledge that there's an engine.
I know how to use it.
Yeah, you don't understand the engine. You don't know why unless you're a mechanic. But then a mechanic might not understand how plumbing works. You can acknowledge that his radiator's turned on.
I think awareness is being conscious of your subconscious.
So then my question would be, would it still be awareness if the thing that you need to be aware of is outside of your subconscious?
Say that again.
So my question would be, would it still be awareness if the thing that you need to be aware of is outside of your subconscious?
I think then it becomes understanding.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So for me, when I talk about like this awareness, for something to be a bit very similar to you, for you to be fully understand something, you need to experience it and continuously look at that thing to try and understand it, and then fail a lot of times, you know.
And be able to teach it to someone else.
Yeah, be able to teach it to someone else and simplify it. Okay, that's also, people say, oh yeah, I understand that, and then they'll say like epistemology, and people go, what the fuck's epistemology? And say, oh well, it's sort of like, and it's like, well, that's not. Like, what do you mean? It's sort of like, well, what is it?
What is it? Down to its core, yeah.
Yeah, down to its core. So, this idea of awareness is, I believe that people don't have it in their ability to be aware of the things that are happening. Like, I could show you a picture of a dead monkey on the Amazon Rainforest Alliance website and say, this is what's happened to the Amazon, and they'll go, oh man, it's not aware.
Back to Netflix.
If we take that guy and take him, put him in the fucking Amazon, and he's got to run away from fucking forest fires, he will soon quickly understand that there's shit going on.
Yeah.
And this was a problem for me. This is what I experienced. This lesson I got from the Amazon jungle. I knew that there was poor people. I've lived that experience. I've been homeless. I get it. To the extent of that, I do not know. In the UK, we have Salvation Army. I don't know if you have it in Ireland, but you get free food. You know, I was going to food banks and getting free food, so I was still eating somewhat. I still had enough to live. You know, if I go to the Salvation Army, you get soup every Tuesday. You know, you get whatever on different days, but on Tuesday I had soup there, so I'd have soup and bread. Christmas, I would go hand stuff out to the homeless and make the big piles of food and clothes for all the homeless. You know, if you got all the tins, you could last a month too. You know what I mean? So there is options there in the UK, although it's still not great and nobody should be homeless.
But you'll survive.
You'll survive. When I went to Iquitos, my teacher took me down to this place, and he said, I had a bum bag on. He's like, put your bum bag in front of you because someone will come behind, cut it with a knife and roll all your money and your phone. He's like, don't show anybody. So I was like, holy shit. So I was like fucking hugging this guy on the back of this bed. And he drives off and he said, like, be careful, you know. He's like, don't look at anyone in the eye. Mirar is to look. He's like, no mirar. He's like, escúchame, listen to me. Now, okay, escúchame. Okay. So I'm like sat like this on this bike and I was like, alright, I want to look. I was just going to look, you know. So I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, and I was like, went around this corner and we come off the beaten track onto a bobbly road. Then that bobbly road tends to just stick mud, and now we're like going like off and went down this road, 10 left, mate, and there's just fucking kids laid on the road. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I've got to get off. So I jumped off. I was like, stop, you've got to stop. I went over to the child and I speak a bit of Spanish, you know, enough to. And I was like, ¿Quieres comida? Do you want food? Do you want food? And he sat up and he went, oh, blanco piel, which is white skin, and fucking bolted. He's probably never seen a white guy in his life. And I was like, oh, fucked it. I just tried to help him, you know. I just fucked it up. And I was like, oh shit, what do I do? And I was like, how do I help? Like, now I'm intruding him. I don't want to chase him. He'll think, oh, this fucking white person's chasing me. Like, what the fuck? So I was like, all these thoughts going through my head. I was like, I need to go get food. I need to go get food and just bring them food now, because that is the only way that they're going to be like, this guy's okay. And I had, in my savings at the time, I had 120 odd quid. Spent it all on food, every single thing. I took it back and I was handing out potatoes, bread, the lot, and all these kids just gathered around me and I was just feeding these children. And I'll show you the photo in my van. I've got it. It's in my that thing that you pull down.
Cupboard.
Visor, yeah. I like took it, you know, and so yeah, and I remember I phoned my girlfriend at the time, Miriam, and I remember just crying my eyes out, and I was like, one day I'm going to earn enough money that I'm going to come and help all these people, you know. And it was for me. Then what they did was they then followed me home, and then in the morning at like 7 a.m. I've got these Spanish kids, you know, Peruvian Spanish kids going, Naoki. I was like, "Come on," I was like, ¿Qué? And then my teacher was like, vamos, let's go, get out of here. I was like, ¿Qué? And he was like, oh, come, you know. So it was like, ¿Tú hablas español? I was like, yeah, un poco. So then I was like talking to them in their own language, and they couldn't fathom that. It was like, and then he was grabbing my beard, and I took this plug out, and the kids like putting the finger in my plug. I was like, oh, get off me! And pulling my dreadlocks, they're smelling them. And I was like, oh, don't do that. I'm not showered for days. And one of them, like, we went for this like little walk, and one of these kids like climbed this tree, peeled off this bark. I had a knife. I was like 5, maybe 6, 7, whatever, like young. Hit this tree, peeled the bark off, grabbed this like white fleshy part, cut it off, put the bark back on, tied something around it so it like heals or something. Come back down and then like ripped it off, and he went, "Come here." I was like,
food.
I was like, yeah, I know, but I was like, do I trust this kid? You know, like, what's he trying to give me? Like, if he thinks I've got money, in my head I'm like, the army was like, he's gonna rob me.
I'm gonna wake up with no pants on.
Wake up, all my clothes gone. So I was like,
you do it. You eat it.
So it's like,
okay, and he did.
and I was like,
Right.
okay,
Safe.
yeah, it's fine. Mate,
Good thinking.
Amazing, yeah. It's like, you've got to be savvy like that in those places, you know.
You do.
You know,
And especially when strangers, like I've had strangers give me tea for no reason. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm very grateful. But as soon as they walk off, I'm pouring it down the sink because I don't trust you.
You just can't. You can't risk it. You know.
No.
What I realized, my teacher Jose, I ordered some stuff from him, and £1,000 worth of stuff is actually not replied back. So, you know, we spent 6 weeks together in the jungle, drinking a lot of ayahuasca and doing dietas. So, what you also have to realise is, even when you trust people, it's a third world country.
People
and
change.
in survival.
The money changes.
What do you do
too.
in survival? You fucking survive. Survival gets rid of all morals. All morals. You know, I remember that. I remember living that. You know, all my morals went out the window. It was life or death for me as a kid. It was like, I'm fucking hungry. I'm gonna go rob from the shops. I need to eat. Yeah.
Simple
as that. It's like I couldn't care that your shop has lost money. I'm hungry. And you know, if we take it back to like these animalistic instincts, it's me versus you. You know, and I'm starving and nobody's helping me. I will now have to fight you to then get the thing that I need to live. You know. But even then, you know, moving on from that, like now I have more of a, I don't want to say a nihilistic outview on life, but I definitely feel like the only purpose really, outside of ones that we give ourselves, is to go forth and multiply. Definitely. I just feel like even shamanism is my entire life. Like, I've devoted my life to it, and I will continue to do so. But it's a given purpose that I chose to do. You know, Like I could also choose not to do that, you know. Whereas this go forth and multiply thing, no, I don't think anybody really can turn off their desire to have sex, to go forth and multiply. To maybe if you don't want kids necessarily, but you know, in terms of, for me, it's like all I want to do on planet Earth is, and now that I've matured up and I've gone through that process and I've gone through the adolescence, is just have an amazing family, an amazing partner, and just devote my life to them. Yeah, and just do everything I can to better their lives for them. Yeah, nothing else matters.
Awesome, man. I we need more people like you.
Thanks.
We need more people like you. So, like, you know, going back to the beginning of this episode, you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for all that.
No, I'm super grateful for all.
And God would have never given you something if He knew you weren't able for it.
Yeah.
Even though at the time it seemed like, oh my God, why?
This is the worst thing in the world.
Why me? One thing after the next. Why me? Like, really? Could I not have gotten a better roll of the dice?
I think, couldn't I have just been some rich kid's son?
Yeah.
You know, just gone to the nice
But then
schools?
again, like, that's a miserable existence too.
It's miserable, man. You know, I've got I've got a story, and I actually wrote a book. So it was called From Suicidal Depression to Shamanism and Psychedelics, and it was an autobiography from the day I was born till now, and it took me 2.5 years to write. It was 18 chapters.
Is it out?
190,000 words. And
how many?
190,000 words.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
that's a lot.
I was writing sometimes like for 20,000-30,000 words a week. Yeah.
My book is like close to 40,000 words.
Yeah.
So that's impressive.
I was just like, when I get this is this OCD thing that I talk about. When I get into something, I compulse and obsess it. Like, this is the addiction.
Is the book out? Can people buy it?
No, not yet. The reason being is it was out. I have everything, 18 chapters, on my old MacBook. When I went to the jungle and I come back, my MacBook had somehow corrupted and lost everything. But I didn't do anything. All I did was print my boarding pass off, shut it, put it on my bed. Went to the jungle for 6 weeks, come back, open MacBook, don't work. Took it to Apple. Hey, look, I just come back, this happened. They reset it back to factory settings, all that, nothing. Doesn't work, just doesn't work. Like, they said, oh, well, we can change this part and it'll cost you like 900 quid, but we can't guarantee it's going to work because we've never seen this. Just doesn't work. Yeah, that's another story, I think, for a different time. But
so you're telling me that it's gone? It's
gone, yeah. So what come up for me there was maybe right now.
Try to compress it this time.
Well, it's hard to explain. Basically, things happened in my life that, even though you know, I also have to be honest with myself and be like, look, these things happened. I'm also trying to build a relationship with my father again, and the things that went on that would destroy that relationship. You know, the truth would destroy the relationship, and
not until that relationship is strong enough to where it will survive the truth.
Exactly, yeah.
It takes time.
You know, maybe, you know, he's like 60 odd now. You know, he's still drinking all the time. So, you know,
I think the reason why you lost that autobiography is because it wasn't finished.
Yeah. Well,
that wasn't the end product. You're only halfway there.
So this is the thing. I actually wrote the book up until I went to the jungle.
There you go. That's only the beginning.
After that, my next book, which I'm writing now, is called Becoming Naoki Nayati.
Okay.
And it was like my autobiography up until the jungle, and then the Becoming Naoki Nayati is my story after the jungle, how I stepped into my power of becoming a shamanic practitioner.
Amazing. Let me give you a piece of advice. Get a backup hard drive and copy that shit every day.
Everyone's there's like, why did you fucking back it up? I was like, I don't know, I just didn't. I thought
you need to back it
up. It's a MacBook, like it's Apple product, you know, it's like top quality, like. I didn't do anything on it.
Yeah.
All I did on there was like maybe a bit of crypto and fucking and a book. Like I didn't edit some photos on Photoshop. Like there's nothing on there that would be like
cause this to happen.
Yeah, I always use VPN. I have Norton security. You know, everything is always like I do everything properly. So I was like, basically when that happened, in the ayahuasca scene. Especially if you train with people that are called brujos, which are black magicians, you know, it's massive in Peru with this black magic sort of stuff. There's a thing called a varoti, and a varoti basically translates to psychic dart, and it is a physical dart that you can blow at people, or you can do it in ayahuasca ceremonies and blow an energetic dart to them and cause them problems. I'm not going to name names because it's sorted now, but that was definitely Virotti. Yeah, it was Virotti. Yeah, from someone that I fell out with on the medicine path a few years, 3 years ago now. And yeah, they sent me one when they went to the jungle with their teacher because I refused to go. Yeah, so and then my teacher sorted it out. So I basically rang him after. I said, "Look, this has happened," and we drank ayahuasca. And you know, he was in Peru, I was in the UK, and I drank ayahuasca, and he drank ayahuasca, and he texted me straight away saying, "Who sent you Virotti?" And I was just like, "How do you know that?" You know, he knew, man. You know, he's had over 2,500 ceremonies. You know, this guy's well versed. He's 60 or so, he's well versed in ayahuasca. His mum's 89, you know, she's had 5,000 ceremonies. So
what's the one thing that you do to protect your own peace and to not let all of this consume you? Because it's a lot for one human to take on. It's a lot of pain, it's a lot of stories, it's a lot of collective energy, which unless you're strong, it will bring you down. Like, what is the one thing that you do on a regular basis to maintain your spirit and to not lose it? Do you take time away from everything and everyone?
Sometimes, yeah. I think the answer to that has changed over the years. I think now the thing that really helps me is cacao. Is cacao, yeah.
Do you feel like it grounds you?
I feel like it's my moment every day, my maybe half an hour, if that's sometimes a lot, but if I'm holding a cacao ceremony, sometimes 2 to 3 hours, where I can just fucking not talk to anybody, and I can just be with myself, and I can sing, and I can regulate my nervous system. Icaros and singing, for me, is the thing that has calmed my nervous system down, fully, pretty much. I don't get angry anymore. I raise my voice sometimes, but you know, compared to where I was fighting all the time to now, like, people don't see the change, they just see the outcome. Like, oh, he's still shouting. It's like, yeah, but look at how much I've done, you know. And the other thing is gratitude exercises, yeah. So we do a thing, which I do teach, by the way. I teach a medicine wheel, and you can come learn with me shamanism, and I teach you for 3 years, and you know, a course, and you know, it's a lifestyle, you know. And on that, I teach you about a Kintu prayer, and a Kintu prayer is usually made from coca leaves, from not cannabis leaves, sorry, coca leaves, which are the leaves that make cocaine. In Peru, they're used to chew for altitude sickness and stuff. And the coca leaves are very sacred for them, and you get 3, and you blow into them using a sopla, which is your breath, basically. And you blow into them all the things that you're grateful for, and you have to start with the things that have hurt you the most. And what that does from a scientific perspective, really, is just rewire your brain. It just rewires your brain, and it's just changing your thing from lack and victim to abundance and gratitude, yeah, because nothing can compete with that, yeah. So like that's how I actually forgave my father, was saying, thank you so much for treating me the way you did, because if it wasn't for you, I would maybe never found ayahuasca. Thank you for treating me the way you did, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know how to be the best father that I could potentially be in the future. If it wasn't for you, thank you for so much for doing what you did, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't realise who my true friends are. The ones that really showed up for me when I was on the verge of suicide, you know, attempting. He showed me so much, not by doing anything. And what that did was just me rewiring that, rather than this, my life's horrible, everyone's against me, I hate life. Victim mentality to, thank you so much. You know, and I can honestly say, and that's why I can say now from the bottom of my heart that I love my father, yeah.
Again, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
Yeah, it took years. It took a long while. Like, this isn't a process where it's just like, yeah, I love you, Dad. Done one Kintu prayer, I'm good to go. No, it's like that. I was doing Kintu prayers for him every day for years, yeah, for years and years.
What is something that you think you're not grateful for enough, but you should be?
My partner. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. She's the most amazing woman on planet Earth, yeah. Yeah, I even get a bit teary just seeing her.
That's awesome, man. It's a rare thing that we find people like this in our life, and I believe that they come into our life at the exact moment when we need them.
Yeah, she's, you know, people often say like, oh, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or something like that. She's not from fucking Venus. She's from somewhere more mental, and she is the most amazing woman that I've ever been with in my entire life. Yeah, she is the most patient, she's the most nurturing, the most compassionate, the kindest. She's the best mum, You know, like I don't have a child with her, but she has a child with her ex, and she's just the best mum that I've just ever seen in my life. Yeah, she does everything for me, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do as much as what I do. And she does so much in the background which nobody sees. You know,
Behind every strong man is a stronger woman.
Strong, 100%, and she is the most amazing thing that I've ever been gifted with ever. Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have two women in my life like that have stood behind me no matter what. And unfortunately, you know, for whatever reason, whether their purpose has been served or it just wasn't aligned for us, they're no longer in my life. But
we sang them. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you to them. Yeah.
Thank you. And they every single day that they were in my life, like I was a better man.
100%.
You know, I was more accountable. I tried harder. I wanted to do better. I wanted to be better.
100% agree. Can't agree anymore. Yeah.
And like, I encourage anyone that is in a relationship right now which doesn't give you that feeling, get out.
Me and my partner, we actually run a couples cacao ceremony. So we teach couples how to communicate effectively, how to keep that love, that honeymoon phase going somewhat.
Yeah, I don't believe in that whole honeymoon phase. Like, people say, oh, your honeymoon only lasts 6 months. I'm like, well, who says who?
Bullshit.
Why can't you make it last your entire life?
You can't.
It's gonna take work, and it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be triggering, and it's gonna be difficult, but like, it'll be worth it. It's gonna be intense. But again, on that topic, it takes two exceptional individuals working in sync to achieve that. And
to be able to be held accountable. My partner pulls me up on so much, and I pull her on stuff like.
As you should.
Like, so if we were together, like my partner would say to me, say to you, hey, do you know what? I really don't like it when you do that. Old me would have gone, well, fuck you. I can do what I want. Don't tell me what I can do. Whereas now I go, thank you for sharing.
She wants you to be better. She knows you can be better.
How can I be better, or what can I do differently to help you make you feel more relaxed, safer, you know, all these things. And she says, look, can we do that? And if that doesn't align with me, I'm still eligible to say no. I'm still like, do you know what, no, that doesn't align with me. Then we'll have to come up with another compromise that fits for us both. But we serve cacao. Cacao is also an aphrodisiac. Pardon me. Cacao is also an aphrodisiac, so, you know, gets the sexual energy going. And we teach about open communication. We ask questions. What is one thing I did this week that you liked? What is one thing I did this week that I need to improve on? You know, and sit there and take that, because your partner knows you. Your partner's, and this is where I come up with the saying, you cannot see the label from inside the jar. Okay, you know, and what I mean by that is, if you're in the sauce, you're in the fucking sauce, bro. You know, you can't read how much fat and protein and stuff's there, because you're like, you're in it. When your partner pulls you up on something, she's just reading your ingredients, you know.
Damn, that's a cool analogy.
She's just reading your ingredients. Just let her read it and say, hey, you know what, you shouldn't have that sugar in there. And then you're like, shit, yeah, I don't know why that's in there. Why have you got E22 in there? Oh yeah, take that out. You know, just let her read the ingredients, bro.
Unfortunately, though, I think like men and women have lost the way, in terms of like, they've forgotten what our roles are. And I don't want to get lost here in like, oh, men are supposed to do this and women are supposed to do this. No, but yes, at the same time, we're both different, and it's what makes us work. It's what makes the world go round, and we need that difference. And men are supposed to do A, and women are supposed to do B. And if you can figure that out and work in conjunction, you become unstoppable.
Me and my partner are very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
She does all the cooking, pretty much, unless it's a weekend. I get up in the morning, make the coffee on a weekend, because I'm not working. But on those days I'm working, she gets up for me, makes me a coffee in the morning, makes me lunch, does all that, does all my washing. But I said to her, I will work fucking 20 hours a day to ensure that you have everything that you want in life, ever. You know, you want to go on holiday? I'll pay for everything. You know, you want to fucking get married? We'll get married tomorrow. You know, whatever you want, I will give you. I will run to the ends of the earth to ensure that you have everything that you want in your life, because you make me feel the best I've ever felt, and you deserve it. You know, we're very old-fashioned that way. She does all those house things, and I work as many hours as I can on get an income. You know?
Awesome, man. But it's not to say that that's for everyone.
No,
and every relationship and every dynamic is going to be different.
Yeah.
But as long as you can figure out, like, literally, treat it like an interview almost, and ask the other person, what do you want out of me?
And if at any point she turned around and said to me, look, do you know what, actually, I don't want this right now, could we do? I'd be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do to be the best partner I can be?
That's not to say you're supposed to change and please the other person, but figure out what your role is and what the other person's role is, and whether or not you're compatible, and if so, great.
And if not, what can you compromise on? That's the other thing. It's like, nobody is perfectly compatible from the off. So when I was living in the UK, well, I still do live in the UK in a camper van, but you know, my partner lives over here, and she was like, I'm done with this long distance relationship now. So I said, well, that's fine, I'll spend more time over here and see you, but I do need to be back in the UK. Do I want to move to Ireland and be with her son? No, I was saving to go to Mexico. I was saving to buy a house in Mexico and to buy a house in Spain, because that's where I love the Spanish language, love Mexican and Spanish food. The culture's different, you know. So I made an agreement with her, a compromise that I don't really want to do this, but we'll do this because in years to come, this was going to come on back in return. You know, as her son gets older and spends more time out and spends more time at his dad, and you know, looking to come to 18 and get his own place, or even, you know, staying there, we can then move together. You know, and that's the compromise that I made. And if I wasn't, part of me was like, oh, it's a bit shit, but the thing that I get from my partner outweighs that little bit of shit for a while, you know, like, because there's also amazing things here. We went to that,
of course,
it's well, I want to say it. There's like a lake, it's a bit up north, past Arklow, it's a bit of north, Kick.
Is it in the Wicklow Mountains?
Wicklow, yeah, that's it. Mate, amazing, yes. Beautiful.
Ireland is gorgeous.
It's such a beautiful country, innit? Yeah. So I said, well, while we're here, let's make the use of it, because before I didn't know this was Ireland. I thought, you know, like, I didn't really think anything. I just thought, oh, well, I don't really want to do that, it's wet, I don't really like the rain, you know, I'm not a fan of that. I've done the army thing, I'm done with getting wet and cold now. So
enough hardship.
Yeah, enough hardship, I'm done with it now. I want my feet up with a fucking mocktail. So yeah, but I said, right, let's make the most of it. Let's go do all these mountains, climb these things, go see the greenery, go to Cork, see these colourful houses, do all that, you know, because let's make the most of it while we're here. And being here, like, all that time, it was a massive compromise for me to do that. Like, I'm just like, yeah, well, why wouldn't I be here with you?
There's beauty everywhere also. Like, there's beauty in every single country, in every single culture, in every single community. It just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're privileged enough to know, like, that you prefer this one over that one. But that doesn't mean that one is bad.
Yeah, I agree. There's loads of amazing things in Ireland. We went to that. Like, it was almost houses made out of straw on the superclose floor. It was like down south a bit. It's like you walk around, it's like 20 quid to get into something, but you walk around it and you see all these houses. I was like, wow, the island's actually got so much history that I didn't know about. Like, I understand, like, the Celtics, or what was it, Celtics or something like that. And when I did a course with Annette Hust, Seda and Galdra, which is Norwegian shamanism. I did a course with her, so I sort of like looked into that, and I understand runes, and I understand that the Celts had Ogham, which was very similar. So I know there's some sort of, but I didn't realise how much rich history that they had. You know,
a lot of it was suppressed by the English.
Yeah, bastards. Get out of my gym.
If I was to tell you that 100% guaranteed, world as you know it will cease to exist in 12 hours, and there's not a thing you can do about it, what are you going to do for the next 12 hours?
Just go home and hug my partner, yeah, and just make sure that she's, you know, she's hugging her son, or, you know, even ring his dad and say, look, come over so you can both be with your son.
What food are you eating?
Next 12 hours, probably Mexican, yeah, probably tostadas, yeah.
Is there anything that you would say to anyone? Is there a message you would send that you haven't? And once you know, like, this is your last opportunity to say this.
Yeah, message. It's a good one. Yeah, I'd probably just say tell your brothers that you love them. You know, tell your brothers that you love them. Yeah, I tell all my men that I love them. I message them all the time. I even put a kiss to you, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I didn't see that one.
I even put a kiss to you, I'm sure, and or a love heart or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, men act weird when you do that.
Yes.
But it's because they don't know how to be vulnerable. And I even when I leave Aldi sometimes, I'm like, cheers, love you. And like, what the fuck, that's weird, you know? But I'm just like, I just love everything. I love everybody, you know. I want everyone to feel or be told that they are loved at one point, because that many times in my life I wasn't. So it's like,
didn't have that, yeah.
didn't have that. So and you know, this is something that we do on our retreats. Is like, you fucking stare at the man in the eye and say, I love you, bro. And men are just crying, breaking down, like, and telling the stories of how, you know, that they've lived in care all their life and been beaten up and passed through and never been told they're loved.
A lot of men go through life unnoticed.
Yeah.
Unnoticed by other men and unnoticed by women. Especially if you are, unfortunately, an average Joe with nothing going for you. No one actually pays attention to you. And that is a sad existence. That's not to say that, again, that's it. Like, that's all you will ever do in life. Like, there's so much you can do. You can grow, you can become better, you can get in better shape physically, you can educate yourself, you can learn how to be more literate, you can read books, like, you can learn how to speak to women more eloquently. There's so much you can do. You can level up your character.
100%, yeah.
And when you go through life unnoticed, you almost go in on yourself, and you think that there's something wrong with you because no one is paying attention to you. Right? I grew up as a very shy kid. I was very introverted. I never wanted to hang out with anyone. As a teenager, it was like school, gym, home. Into my room. I didn't even want to speak to my parents. I didn't want to hang out with any of my friends. I didn't have friends growing up. I always felt like I was different. I was weird. I saw the world for what it is, not for what we've been told it is. And honest to God, like, maybe it wasn't until 2 years ago that I was actually able to have a conversation with a woman on the street and look at her in the eyes and maintain eye contact. Because for all my life I've been scared. You know, and how did I get there? By leveling up my character, by becoming better, by learning, by believing in myself, and believing that, like, I can. You know, and not thinking that you're not good enough. All my life I've told myself I'm not good enough. I can't do that because I can't do this because, oh, but you know, he's doing it, but he got whatever. But then one day I said, why not me? Fuck it. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
What's the worst? The worst that'll happen is you'll go back to where you are right now. You know, but the best, what is, like, someone asked me this question a few weeks ago and it put me on my knees. She said to me, she says, what is your best case scenario? And I had never even thought about that in my whole life. I've only ever imagined worst case scenario. Like, if I was to ask you right now, what is your best case scenario, what would you say?
Probably just doing exactly what I'm doing now in a hotter country.
That's very simple but beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, honestly, like, I just love what I do. Yeah, and I've worked very fucking hard to get it. You know what I mean? Like, I moved cities. You know, like, just last week we had Jemima over from Germany, a friend of mine over from Germany, holding a cacao ceremony with me in Gorey. Like, what? Like, the people of Gorey don't even know what cacao is. It's like a very small town, and I had this woman over from Germany who's got like 110,000 followers on social media, like big in the spiritual community, over for a cacao ceremony with me. What?
You're kind of sitting there going,
what is going on?
What is life? Yeah.
So yeah, just doing what I'm doing now, maybe more of it, and living in a hotter country. Yeah, that would be it.
I bet you never imagined yourself when you started this journey, being here now, doing what you're doing.
I look back on a journal, right, from the first time I drank Gaia, because I used to write about my journeys, and I remember saying in one of the journals, I want to sit at the front next to the shaman. That was one of the things, and within a few years I was doing that. Yeah, now I go out to Peru and hold ceremonies with the shaman in the jungle. You know, And it's magical, man. I never thought that would be a thing. A little lad from Hull, council estate, homeless guy who now, just like holding. Like this year alone, we've helped over. Although not all of them are severe. Like we've helped over 100 men this year. 100 men.
And those 100 men can then go on to help another. It grows.
It grows, yeah. We've got 83 people in our group chat. Some from Ireland as well, actually. Growing that. In Ireland, we've got 2 retreats this year. Well, I say retreats, events. We're going to be climbing 2 mountains. One at the start of this year, one in January or maybe February next year. So I am trying to put stuff on in Ireland for the men here as well. But like Morocco retreat.
It's a difficult demographic to tackle.
Yeah.
Irish people are very close-minded.
Yeah.
They are very much stuck in their old ways.
You Irish?
No.
Where are you?
I was born in Poland.
Poland.
I was born in Poland, but I've lived here now for 17 years, on and
wow.
off. I've travelled quite a bit, but yeah. So it's like I say, I have an Irish passport, and I say that culturally I'm Irish.
Yeah,
but
you got Irish accent.
But I've got Polish blood in my veins for sure.
Tak.
Yeah.
I got a few Polish friends actually. Yeah, one of my best friend Wojciech.
Yeah.
Wojtuś. He's Polish. Do you speak Polish?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
He's Polish. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. So we always spend time together. One of my friends, Camille, he's Polish. We used to do like a little food swap. His missus would cook me Polish food. I'd cook her English food. So that's pretty good. Yeah.
I used to be ashamed of it. I used to hate where I'm from.
Really?
Yeah.
All the best workers that I know on some building sites up north in Polish.
We like hard work.
I fucking loved it.
Because back home, like we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, you're not given the same opportunities as you are here. For example, in Ireland, like if you lose your job and you lose your house, you get 6 months of support from the government, and after those 6 months, if you didn't figure your shit out, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
There is no help, you know. And life there is very much either black or white. There is no grey. Here in Ireland, everyone is sort of like in the same level in terms of like if you just try and work and put your money away, you'll be alright. Whereas in Poland, like it's either you're on top or you're on the bottom. You know, you're either collecting plastic bottles in the bin to get a few quid to buy a lemonade, or you're living in a 5-bedroom house out in the countryside with a swimming pool and you're driving a brand new Mercedes.
It's mad, isn't it?
There's a huge discrepancy there.
How do we get to that? Even hearing stuff like that, it just makes me want to do better. I'm like, right, I need to help more people. I need to help more people. I need to put more on. I need to do more. You know. Then it's like, it's not all my job. That's what I also have to remember.
It's not all your job, and you can't save the entire world, but you can save your world.
Yeah. And I'll help anyone that wants to come and get help. Yeah, I will take any man on, or even outside of the men's work, just my private one-to-ones. You know, I did a life coaching diploma. I'm meant to be starting a psychology degree in October. Looking at a psychotherapy diploma as well. Like I have a thirst for knowledge. You know, like, and everyone always used to say, "Oh, you're stupid. You'll never get anywhere in life." Blah blah. Like, I've read hundreds of books now. You know, I'd learn things like that. Yeah, I'm like a sponge, you know. So
listen,
I
man,
try and give all that out, you know, give all that knowledge out and help as many people as I can.
I'm very grateful for you, and I'm very grateful that you've been put into my life as well. And I'm grateful for you for sharing this journey with everyone listening. For anyone who is brave enough to take that step towards becoming better, towards healing, whatever that means to you on an individual level. I will leave Naoki's contact details in the description below, and you guys can check out what he does and get in contact with him.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Let's touch base. Let's touch base in the future, bro, and let's see where life takes you.
Appreciate that. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah, big love.